For third and fourth grade summer school, this is our general outline for our days that we do 40 minutes of Linda Hoyt. That's a interactive read aloud that has an accompanying activity or a paired selection with it. That's all fiction, drama, and poetry. Then we do 80 minutes of level literacy intervention, which is basically a very structured guided reading session, and 10 minutes of share time so that students can share what they did during stations, which will either have been read to self with a reader's response journal or independent work connected to Linda Hoyt lessons. And then we do 35 minutes of word study. We're using Words Their Way, doing a mini lesson and an activity that's associated with that. And then we have 45 minutes a day for research time. Why are we deciding to do research time? 2 reasons. One is that because Linda Hoyt is all literary text, we want to have time for students to be able to interact with informational text. And research is a wonderful avenue to do that because they have to read, they have to find the main idea, they have to summarize, they have to paraphrase, they have to read text and graphic features to be able to get information. And it's also a way that we get in our writing, revising, and editing practice. So I just wanted to take a minute to show you the guidance document for research. If you were a third grade teacher this year, this is exactly the same guidance document that you had. If you did fourth grade, it's something similar, but this basically just outlines the research process. This guidance document goes for 3 weeks. You can actually slow down the pace a little bit and go for 4 weeks since summer school's a little bit longer here. But basically, if you look through here, it's laid out for you how you can introduce this. On the first day, you're modeling how to choose a topic. You show students how they can brainstorm several ideas, and then for each of those ideas, they write out 2 to 4 questions or things that they would want to know about that topic. They would think about which one has the most meat and which one has the best chance of finding information that could answer those questions, and that's what they would choose. We do want them to be able to select their own topics here. You might think about a theme, but students really should have the autonomy to pick what they are interested in here. Then the next days, they will go in and find resources. You're going to help them understand how to find a resource, how to skim it, and how to paraphrase information that might be important, specifically information that answers one of their driving questions. So a kid can't just say, I want to research ants, and then go read about ants and decide what they're going to put in their report. They need to say, I want to learn about ants. I want to know about how are their colonies made. I want to know why are they important to the earth, and I want to know what are their enemies. That way, whenever I am looking for my resources, I'm specifically looking for information that answers my questions. It's a whole lot higher level skill when we do it that way. So here is a link to kid-friendly websites where students can be looking that information up. You can use the computers that are in your room, or you can take the kids to the computer lab at this time. You can also take the students to the library to look for books. So here, those days 2, 3, and 4, they're just finding information and recording that information on sticky notes, paraphrased information on sticky notes. One way to have a really organized way of doing it is that you would have your 2 or 3 driving questions on a bigger sheet of paper, and then anytime they take notes that answer one of those questions, they put the sticky note right under that question. It helps them keep their notes organized. Then on day 5, you are going to demonstrate how you read all of the notes in a column and think about all that information. Think about, are some of these things related? Can some of these things be combined? Is there anything in here that doesn't really fit in that I need to take out? So you're just trying to help them group information and prioritize the most important information. Then the following week, you're going to start thinking about what are the best ways to present this information. So it's really boring to open up a book that every page looks exactly the same. It's just 3 paragraphs, turn the page, 3 paragraphs. So one thing authors do is organize their different information in different ways based on what they're trying to convey and to keep the reader's interest. So here are a few different ways. This class had a paragraph, then a picture, and then they had a chart to give some information. Then on this page, they had a paragraph, they had a picture with a label, and they had bullet points. And then on this one, they talked about places. Well, they showed 4 different places and gave a caption for each one of those places. So this is really neat. It's probably one of the best ways to get kids to really understand how and why authors group information in certain ways, and it teaches a lot about making choices for how to use text and graphic features. Your students can make a booklet just like this, or some of them might want to make a Weebly page that is dedicated toward their research topic. Then they're going to go into the phase of revising and editing their own work and someone else's work. You're going to point out, do a little mini lesson on things that you see a lot of kids struggling with, like maybe forming paragraphs or using punctuation effectively. You might see some commonly misspelled words that you might want them to go back and check for. So during this phase, they are revising and editing for peers and for themselves. And then the last few days, they are publishing it. They're making it look nice. They're rewriting it, or they're retyping it. They're adding pictures. They're adding graphics. They're just polishing it up. And then the last day, they'll share that with the whole class. I would encourage you to have the whole class taking notes whenever someone is presenting to show that they are actively listening and they have learned at least 1 or 2 things from the presentation.